Hello, I'm Melissa Vance with the Wayne County Area Chamber of Commerce, and welcome to Chamber Chat. Today we'll have our friends from Nettle Creek over on the Hagerstown side of the county, Dr. Doring and Mr. Childs, and then we'll wrap up with Ed De La Paz from our office talking about some upcoming events. Glad you tuned in. Our guests today, we have Mr. Childs, who is the principal at Hagerstown High School, and Dr. Doring, the superintendent of Nettle Creek School Systems. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We have had such a great time and a good relationship with Nettle Creek Schools, and just glad to have both of you here today to be able to share some of the things that we've been learning about your school and being able to get that word out in the county and to our listeners, and we're just so glad you're here today.
Oh, thank you, Melissa. It's a real pleasure. We have had a great partnership with community members, and we want to highlight certainly the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce.
Great. Well, Dr. Doring, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been at the school system?
Well, this is my 40th year in education in Wayne County, but it's my 5th year at Nettle Creek as superintendent of schools.
And a great 5 years it's been.
You betcha. You betcha.
And Mark, how long have you been with Hagerstown?
I came here in 1984 as an assistant principal and the head football coach, and was in that capacity for 6 years. And then in 1990 became the principal. So I've been here a long time.
Fantastic. That's good. Well, we have recently gotten to see each other a lot just through several of the things that are going on. But one of those is School is Cool, and we've been working with all of the county schools with this program. I think this is our 8th year now, and you all have recently seen some really amazing numbers from that. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, as a result of a lot of support from the members of the greater Wayne County area and the focus on attendance, we've been able to achieve quite favorable data. We had 97.1 average daily attendance last year. Our students had a 95% graduation rate, 95.9, almost 96.
Almost 96, right.
And we also were able to have our 2016 graduates, when they crossed the stage, all 86% of them had a college transcript as a result of our early college project with Ivy Tech of Richmond. So School is Cool, the Chamber, Ivy Tech, these partnerships have become outstanding. Relevancy has been added to the secondary schools as a result of the Chamber being very active with the schools and partnering with us. And so it's just been a wonderful partnership and starting to show some results, so I'm excited.
Great.
You know, it's fun to talk about these partnerships, and it's a partnership really at Nettle Creek that includes our businesses, but it also includes our families. And what they do is very, very important. Some of the outcomes that Mr. Childs was able to talk about, we're very proud of, but we know that it's all kinds of inputs that actually mean student success. And that's what happens in the classroom. It's what happens in the gymnasiums. It's what happens out on the football field or the basketball court. So it's all of those things working together at Nettle Creek that have produced some outcomes that we're pretty proud of.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we were recently at the school for Chamber Network Night and got to see some of those amazing things that you were just talking about. I have to tell you, the professionalism of your students that evening was just phenomenal. We were so blown away by how poised they were speaking with community leaders. You know, it just didn't rattle them. And that speaks a lot to your teachers and all of the things that you have going on. You really are building tomorrow's leaders, and it's showing already. So
Awesome.
Congratulations from that.
Thank you. You got to see like the tip of the iceberg. We've got another 9/10 that's underwater, and we're proud of every single one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of those programs that I think is just really cool is your ag program and how your students are raising beef on the edge of your property. And tell us a little about that.
Well, I'll tell you how it started. About 5 years ago, we were working on managing our resources, and we had to trim like everybody else. There were areas that we had to trim. And Mr. Williamson, our ag teacher, came and he said, what if we have like a money-making idea? And it was like, oh, this is awesome. Tell us about it. And so he described the whole beef farm concept that he'd been working on actually for a couple of years. And then pitched the idea, pitched to the school board, and off we went. And this year, the kids are raising 10 cows and have a brand new technology component that's really exciting.
And that was really neat, just in and of itself, the technology that's added into that, and being able to know how often the cows are eating and all of that. But then the whole farm to table concept that's so popular in our country right now, eating nutritional food, knowing what, where your food is sourced. This is all part of that. It ties right into all of that. So it's just extremely cool to be able to know that the beef that you're raising is the hamburgers that the students are eating, and what they got fed, where they came from.
It's a complete circle. The kids get the complete circle. And the fact that we can serve the beef in the cafeteria, that's icing on the cake.
That's just cool.
Yes.
And
The agribusiness program and the FFA chapter, you mentioned the composure that our students were able to present as being hosts. Many of our extracurricular programs play a big role in that, whether it be our FFA chapter or our BPA or our Family and Consumer Science chapters, our band program, our academic competition. All of these extracurricular programs help support the application of the math, science, English, and social studies. And so it does my heart good to hear that they performed well and did a good job. So those non-academic skills that are so needed in business and industry get the opportunity to be put into play in many of our extracurricular programs.
Absolutely. Well, and then another program that just really stood out to me was your Business Professionals of America students and the program that they have. Tell us a little about that.
Well, that has been a essential of Hagerstown Junior Senior High School for many, many years. When I came there in 1984, they had a healthy chapter in the Business Professionals of America, and Mr. Dawson was a student at the time, and now he is so well recognized as a major player in the state BPA and even the National Business Professionals of America. So as our department chair, he's very, very involved, and so consequently we hold the district competition. We had about 220 kids come to our building and qualify for the state contest, which just recently occurred, and we had a record number of individuals score at a high enough to go to the nationals. So we'll be going to the nationals in Orlando, Florida, with 6 individuals in 6 different areas to compete, and hopefully we'll become a national champion in something. So that would be really exciting too.
That would be great.
Yeah.
And for a school the size of Hagerstown High School, that's huge. Six from Hagerstown High School it's huge, especially when you're competing against schools of all sizes.
That's correct.
It's not classed, right?
Yes. No, not at all. And
so, unlike sports, this is big.
We're competing against everyone. Yes, and the national level. It's not just the local level. It's not just the state level, but the national level. I'm sure that it's been 10 or more years, and I apologize if many more than that, but I know for at least 10 years we've gone to the nationals with a group from Business Professionals of America. The FFA chapter is very similar. We've had state officers in FFA, district officers in Family and Consumer Science. So those are great opportunities for our kids to learn how to lead. We say we live bigger than we are, and we try to live up to that, and our kids just rise to the top.
Absolutely. You know, one of the other things that I just thought was so cool that I learned that day was about your weightlifting program and the athletics that take place in the summer just in that weight room. And am I remembering this right? Was it 200, approximately 200 boys and girls come in the summer to go through that program?
It's right at 100.
Okay.
So we'll have 100 kids get up at 7 a.m. 4 days a week and report to our fitness center, which is a very, very nice fitness center. We've gotten lots of donations from, again, partnerships again, where they've been able to provide us funding to help purchase some of the equipment that we use. And as a group of boys and girls, young men and women, they all work out in that fitness center from approximately 7:30 to 9 o'clock. And it's a rotation type of thing, and they're all paired up based on their abilities and how much they can lift. And then they break out from there into their specific skill group, whether it be a basketball, a volleyball, a football, and work in their skill position areas. I think it's really done a lot for our sports program, and it's also a really wonderful way to build cohesiveness and feel like you belong to something that's kind of special. And so if I'm a female and I'm working out with the guys in the summer, they're sacrificing. If I'm a guy, I'm seeing those ladies are sacrificing it as well. I'm coming to their athletic events. I'm cheering for them because we're on the same team. We work out together.
Right.
And it's just been, it's really exciting to see. Very intense.
The camaraderie at your school, it shows.
You bet. And
It
that
really
goes
does
from
show.
kids to staff to parents and to community. That link between. I think you got to see some of the perseverance and some of the qualities, the character qualities that our kids really are proud of. And of course we are too. Certainly they begin learning them at home, but we reinforce that. And so determination to succeed, A+. A+, whether it's band, whether it's PE, doesn't matter, whether it's in the classroom. That determination to succeed is very big at Nettle Creek.
Absolutely. And you know, with the School is Cool program, we get to go into all levels, high schools, middle schools, elementaries, and it's always fun coming over to your elementary and doing the drawing on the overhead, the loudspeaker and the announcements in the morning, and the kids coming in with their big smiles that they won. And
I'm glad you mentioned that, because really it all does start in our elementary school. From preschool on through grade 6, we have the same message for all of our kids, K through 12, that you're going to work hard, you're going to behave, and you're going to do your best. And even our youngest Tiger Cubs learn that early at Nettle Creek.
yeah, and your staff has just been, everyone's just pleasant. You know, I've never walked in and seen somebody having a bad day. Not that they don't have bad days, because I'm sure they occur, because they occur everywhere. But it's, you know, it speaks a lot to the professionalism when outsiders can walk in and you don't notice the bad days. You just notice people pushing through and doing their best and being positive in the midst of all of it.
Everybody
It's
recognizes that we're a team and that we all make a contribution, and we support each other when we're having bad days, because we certainly do, but we support each other and then work through that for the sake of the kids.
So, you know, we've talked a little bit about where you've been. What's your vision for the future? What's your vision for the next few years? Do you have some nuggets that you can share? Are there directions that you hope to be headed that, you know, maybe partners can step in and help with, or, you know, at least be your cheerleaders to stand behind you?
We appreciate that. Both are great contributions. It's a matter of going from good to great. We recognize where our strengths are, and we also know where we need to improve. And it's through team planning, really, that we are developing that next step. We're working right now 3 through 12, grades 3 through 12 on technology. They're all one-to-one. And the next plan for us is to include kindergarten through 2nd grade, so that all of our kids will have one-to-one technology.
Great.
And with that in place, the sky's the limit. the sky's the limit.
And in case we have some listeners that don't know what one-to-one is, explain that just a little bit.
Sure, you bet. Back when I started teaching, there was no technology,
Right.
so that's 0 to 0.
Right.
But then a lot of corporations put in computer labs where there would be 25 or 30 machines, tabletop machines, where kids would rotate in and maybe get a half hour a couple times a week on technology.
Right.
And that just has kind of evolved. We've put more money in, and of course the technology is involved too, and how we use it for learning, because it's a tool for learning.
Right.
It's not like an endpoint.
Right.
But we've learned over the years that kids learn best with technology if they have their own laptop right in front of them, so they can individualize. And of course, the teachers had to take big steps and teach other ways.
Right.
But so when you walk into our classrooms now, in grades 3 through 12, all of the kids have their Chromebooks. Now, it doesn't mean that they use them totally for instruction.
Right.
The teacher's still up there.
Right.
Textbooks are still on the shelf if they're needed, but it just expands and it allows the teachers to bring the whole world into their classroom.
Right.
And so one-to-one is each
Every
kid
child
having their
has their own.
Yeah, you bet.
Great. And one of the things I wanted to talk about too was the fact that your students come into high school and have the opportunity, through your partnership with Ivy Tech, have the opportunity for dual credits throughout their high school career. And I knew that there were opportunities, but I had no idea until we were over at your place, up to potentially 30 credit hours upon graduation. Is that right?
It's very doable, yes. We have worked now with Ivy Tech of Richmond for 3 years, and our current memorandum of agreement, there is no cost to the student. And the student, while taking classes at Hagerstown Junior Senior High School, if it is a credentialed teacher, we sent our teachers' transcripts to Ivy Tech. They reviewed the transcripts to make sure that our teachers had the acceptable courses to be able to teach the class that is a credit in our school, but also is a dual credit. It's a credit at the university level as well. So we now have 86% of our students graduating from high school with a college transcript. Most of them have at least 12 hours. Many of them have a semester already completed, and several have 30 or more college credits and will start college as a sophomore at any of the land-grant state colleges in Indiana. So it's been wonderful. We also, in our agribusiness program, have 2 students who are now sophomores. All of their credits transferred to Iowa State University. Most of our credits are going to transfer to IU. The Purdue University has accepted many of our transcripts. So, and our dual credits. So it's been a wonderful experience. But we're also, you mentioned vision and what we're hoping to do. In addition to that, we also recently were awarded an AP recognition for our advanced placement. We have many of our kids take advanced placement tests. What we also want to do now is move that situation, take advantage of the opportunities that online learning provides, and allow universities to come into our school with our students in our school, but taking credits from many institutions, not just Indiana, but throughout the United States. So that's a vision of where we want to go in the future. But our dual credit situation has really worked out wonderfully, and it's not just for a few, it's for many. If they're willing to take the rigor of that college-like course, they can get those in a class of 20 as opposed to possibly 200 if they're on a university campus. If they have questions, the teacher is right there. It's not a 45-minute period, it's a 90-minute period. So they've got a much greater opportunity to do that independent study and be able to ask questions and get support. So we just think it's a wonderful way for our kids to get a head start. And we also know, by looking at the national information on early colleges, that if a child can have 12 credits in their pocket when they enter college, they are going to finish. Unfortunately, those that are finishing percentage at the university level without something like that is not very good. So I think it's also a benefit to the universities, as well as it is obviously to our kids, that they can get
Right.
that kind of experience.
My goodness, if you can start college as a sophomore, you've already got a year under your belt.
Yes.
You're already a fourth of the way there. It's amazing. And as a parent, knowing, how that translates into dollars, that's amazing.
Yes.
And obviously, no guarantee that they will transfer to private colleges, but many of them transfer to private colleges as well, right?
Yes, that is correct. Most of them have in our case. The only issue will be if it is a particular school of study within the college. For example, I use Kelly School of Business. They want their Kelly School of Business calculus. So that situation, but the great majority of the credits are going to transfer.
Sure.
And certainly they leave us prepared in calculus so that they'll be successful in those classes.
Yes.
But helping those kids in that transition to higher education is part of our mission, and this is one way that we do it.
Well, that's great. Mark, Bill, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for the work that you do every day behind the scenes. Most of the time people don't even know what's happening because, we're out doing our own jobs and just entrusting students with you, but we know you're doing a fantastic job, and thank you for all of the extra things that you do. You truly go above and beyond what's expected as an educator.
Thank you so much. And we appreciate the Chamber and really appreciate Dr. Doring organizing the celebration that included our businesses and industries with the School is Cool. It's a
you get
teamwork.
Credit for that. We appreciate what you
Yes,
pulled off
thank you.
for us.
It was very exciting to me. So thank you both. Welcome back to Chamber Chat. Now I have with me my partner in crime, as I like to call him, Ed De La Paz, our Director of Marketing. Welcome, Ed.
Well, thank you for having me on your show.
We've had a really busy but exciting month at the Chamber, specifically with the junior achievement efforts in the schools, and then followed up with the job fairs at Richmond High School and at Centerville High School. It's been crazy.
It's been amazing. Went through both of them. A massive undertaking for the schools, and they were amazing. Richmond High School had everything set up, ready to go.
Yes.
Just like that.
Kudos to the staff there. They were on top of it. When we came in, they were just so organized and ready to go. They did a great job. But then, the students coming in and being professional and not being on their phones was just astounding to me. As we know, technology is so prevalent. We're really pleased to not have the students be on their phone and actually engaging with the employers. And then we had our breakout sessions with several of the human resources professionals in the area talking about interviewing skills and how to put together a resume and registering for the new job website that the EDC is coming out with very soon. So that's exciting and coming.
Right, they get the opportunity to learn some of the soft skills and then apply them directly. So it wasn't like, they also did JA in the day, so or the JA throughout the entire 6-week period. So they got a little bit of training, but with having the breakout sessions right before the job fair, you really the kids really got the opportunity to apply and kind of go through almost like, they were pretty much live interviews is what they end up being, because some of them end up getting callbacks, and there's actually going to be employments that's going to happen because of this job fair.
We've already heard from several employers that are taking students to the next level for interviews or job, the next step in the hiring process. So that's so exciting. And Centerville was gracious enough to host us for an entire day, rotating all of the county schools through. And so a big thanks to them as well.
Oh, definitely.
But we have other things coming up too.
Okay.
What are some of those things?
So we have the Young Professionals Luncheon, which is going to be April 27th at the Wayne County Historical Museum. After that, we have LeaderCast, and this year LeaderCast is going to be on May 5th, and it's going to be live It's going to be live
Simulcast.
cast. Yeah, out of Ivy Tech.
Yes.
So, and then also the Chamber Golf Classic is coming up, and that's going to be on June 7th.
June 9th.
June 9th.
Yes.
I was
We
close.
don't want to get that wrong. June 9th.
Right.
And boy, that is such a fun event. That's one of the funnest because people come out, they get to be out in the nice weather. Hopefully, we're going to pray for nice weather again and golf for the day or volunteer, be out on the course. It's just an amazing time. So if people are interested in that, either signing up a team or sponsoring, now's the time to start planning for that and contact our office. We'll get you set up. We do sell out every year. We have 32 team slots and they go quickly. So
definitely.
that's going to be a lot of fun. And then one other thing that we didn't mention was Ryan Jenkins with the Gen Z presentation, Compliments of Earlham College. He will be coming also in May. I believe it's the 12th. And so that's going to be an exciting thing also, and more to come from our office.
There's going to be a lot of events happening in May. So stay tuned. Subscribe to our newsletter so that you know everything that's coming up.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us on Chamber Chat. We hope you've had a good time and learned a lot about the things happening in our community and with Nettle Creek Schools. We'll see you next time.